Hey, welcome back. A new component in version 3 is the list group, and these are very flexible and can be used for displaying simple lists of elements as well as more complex lists with some custom content. So the way you start is actually very simple. You start with an UL with a class of list group, and then inside you would have list items with a class of list group item that have some content. And in my case, I'm just going to say some content goes here. And let's do a couple of list items like 4, save, and there it is. This is a list group. You can combine this element with some additional typography elements like badges, for example. So if you have like a list group in a sidebar and you want to show a number on the right of each element, you can do so by adding a span with a class of badge. And there it is. Now you have a badge on each one. Now, if you want these items to link to somewhere, you can do an alternative. So you can have a div with a class of list group instead of an UL. And then each list item will be transformed into an anchor tag. So I would say anchor tag with a class of list group item. Let's do ×4. Refresh. And now you have linked items. If you want to set a particular one as selected, you can add the class of active. So now the first item is active. Now I'm just going to copy this list group because I want to show you some contextual classes. So you have the div class list group, and then on each list item I'm going to add this list group item success for one. I'm going to copy it and paste it on the other ones. I'm going to change the class names to info, warning, and danger. Now if you refresh, notice you have different colors. And this also works for the UL version, except they won't be linked anymore. If I take out the active class, this is how it looks like. And finally, you can add custom content to these list groups. So let's create another one, HR, and I'm going to do the div version where I link items. So div with a class of list group, and then each list group item is going to be an anchor tag. So list group item, and then inside I can have, for example, a heading which has a class of list group item heading, and it doesn't matter which heading you use, either it's H1, either it's H6, as long as it has this class. Okay, this is a heading, and then for content you can have a paragraph with a class of list group item text. This is the content. Save, refresh, and there it is. If you copy and paste this a couple of times, this is how it looks like. And of course, you can add the class of active to one of them. So that's a list group in a nutshell. Now, another recently added component is represented by panels. That's coming up.